and real frogs. Not like our other story, because these are going to be what they really do. So like how in the other story in Frog and Toad, they did fictional things, like you said, they flew kites and they talked. Real frogs and toads can't fly and talk. So let's learn about what they can really do. So this page is the table of contents. We've seen one of these before. We saw it this morning in our chapter book. We can find out different things on each page. So on page 4, we can find out, I found a frog. So let's see what it says about that. Okay, I have my voices off. I found a frog. Have you ever seen an unusual animal in nature? Did you want to learn more about it? Last week, I saw a really neat frog, and that was the start of a wonderful adventure. So here's a picture of a frog, and this is our caption. I'm going to read it to you. It says, what does a frog say when it sees something great? Totally awesome. You guys get it? Because totally?
It's a toad.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
This one says, I looked for the frog in a book called A Field Guide. I started looking through the pictures in the book. I was amazed to see all the different kinds of frogs and toads. It turns out I saw a wood frog. See that huge frog right there?
Yeah.
See how it looked different than the one before that?
I want it on my head.
It's cool, right?
I want a frog. Oh, we saw it.
Okay, voices off. This caption said, do you know there are almost 5,000 kinds of frogs and toads? The biggest one is as big as a dinner plate. One of the smallest is the Brazilian gold frog. Its real size is shown here. Look how little it is. Look how little that one is compared to this one.
That's really good. That could eat a big frog. I saw one of those little ones. It was in my garage. My mama found it. She was cleaning.
I wanted to know more, so I went to the internet. Did you know that frogs and toads are relatives of newts and salamanders? They're all amphibians, which means they live part of their life in water and part on land. Amphibians are cold-blooded animals. They don't make their own body heat. They get warmth from the heat of the sun. So this is a picture of a frog. This is a picture of a toad. See how they look kind of different?
But what's the black one?
This black one is called a newt.
What's a newt? A newt?
A newt is like, it's an amphibian thing. And this one
lays eggs in the water.
What's his off? This one's a salamander.
Remember, raise your hand before you
What's that one
speak.
below the salamander?
Noah, raise your hand before you speak.
This one says life cycle. I also learned that most frogs and toads lay jelly-covered eggs in water. The babies that hatch are called tadpoles. This is a picture of a
I
tadpole.
know tadpoles.
And look like little fish. Tadpoles breathe with their gills just like fish, and they live in water. But it's amazing what happens as they grow. So these are the eggs that it was talking about. And when they hatch, they turn into tadpoles.
Then they get bigger. And they bite you.
Oh, Noah, Hawk, thank you for raising your hand.
What do you have to say now?
Did they bite you?
I don't know.
No.
I've never stuck my hand to see if they bite me before.
I did.
Did it bite you?
No.
No. Okay. Okay. Hands down. Their gills disappear and they grow lungs so they can breathe air like other land animals. They grow legs and then arms. Later, their tail shrinks. By the time their tail is gone, they move on to land. I saw some very cool photos of the life cycle of frogs and toads. So this is kind of a diagram of the frog and toad life cycle. So it starts off as an egg, like we saw earlier. And then when they hatch, they're tadpoles. And then this says it's a metamorph. So it's kind of the middle stage between tadpole and frog. And and then it changes into a frog. And then frogs make eggs so they can reproduce. And it starts all over again. Have a question? You did? Okay, hands down. I'll get questions at the end, okay? This is about frogs. Frogs are famous for their ability to leap with their long, strong back legs. They leap to catch insects and other prey. A frog can catch an insect in an instant and its long, sticky tongue. And this says, why are frogs so good at baseball? Because they catch lots of flies. You see the frog right here? What does it have at the end of its tongue?
A fly.
A fly.
A baseball.
A baseball. I think it's a fly.
It is a fly. It's croaking. No, it has a baby.
The eyes and nostrils of a frog are on the top of its head. Frogs can see, smell, and breathe while they're mostly underwater. In fact, they breathe through their skin while they're underwater. Frogs can make an amazing amount of noise. Raise your hand if you've ever heard frogs before. You ever heard it at night croaking? Yeah? Sometimes male frogs sing loudly to attract a mate. This says, do you know male frogs use throat pouches to sing? Some male frogs have one throat pouch and others have two. So that's what it's talking about right here. That's what makes it. And this caption says, what has more lives than a cat? A frog. It croaks every night. Croak can be another word for die. So that's So this is our chart that compares frogs and toads. It says, do you know the difference between frogs and toads? Here's what I learned from a book at the library. I want you to listen very closely to this because this is what we're going to use at our activity later, okay? So frogs have smooth and slimy skin, but toads have dry and foamy. Frogs live in wet places, while toads live in dry places. Frogs have long, strong back legs so they can use them for leaping. Toads have short back legs. They just use them for walking. Frogs have webbed feet, and toads don't have any webs. Does anybody know what a webbed foot is? What do they look like? Slimy hands. They're attached, is what it is. So don't have webs. If I had webs, my fingers would be attached right here. Yeah, I think kind of like that because they're stretched out. But we're not looking for that. They look funny. Okay, frogs lay eggs in broods, but toads lay eggs in long chains. I was sad to learn that frogs and toads are food for many other animals. Bats, snakes, birds, and rodents all hunt them. But frogs and toads have a clever way to stay safe from animals that might try to eat them. See that?